What's up, everybody? This is Ricardo Rodriguez.
And Matthew Messick.
And this is
the Profits Over Wages podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Profits Over Wages podcast, where we do weekly interviews with highly successful business owners and entrepreneurs. We discuss life, business, and entrepreneurship to bring forward the lessons learned from success and failure, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. What's up, guys? It's Ricardo. On episode 42, we decided to switch it up a bit again and bring you another special edition of the podcast. You see, I have always been fascinated by the mindset of high achievers. The truth is, that was one of my biggest reasons to start this podcast. Their discipline, their failures, their comeback stories, the determination in their eyes in the face of obstacles. And if you're anything like me and ever wonder why getting ahead sometimes can feel like such a struggle, the truth is, if you want to be highly successful, you need to be highly disciplined. Since episode 10 of the podcast, we started asking a series of questions to our guests in an attempt to figure out what successful business owners and entrepreneurs are doing, which has helped them achieve success and has given them an edge. On this episode, I put together 23 of our guests sharing the habits they have used to help them get ahead in business and in life. Enjoy the show. We'll start off with Ryan Garcilaso, founder of the Rehab Depot. We kicked off the questions with him back on episode 10.
Yeah, I like that. What habits helped make you successful?
I guess for me personally, I make a habit of keeping in mind. You guys are gonna laugh at this. I make a habit of trying to keep the same schedule daily, same routine, going to the gym, doing my thing. But I also try to make a habit of being positive. Like I try to look at I always put myself in other people's shoes, no matter the situation.
Empathy,
always. And that makes me feel good, honestly, because I'm like, okay, I kind of see where you're coming from. We can try and work it out. But the other thing is, I like in the industry that I've created this kind of bravado where people are like, this guy's either crazy, he's obnoxious, or he's aggressive, he's bold. That's good. I created it on purpose for all you out there in TV land. I did this on purpose. It's all the strategy. Like Deion Sanders was never Deion Sanders when he was playing. Deion Sanders created the image of Deion Sanders because it got him paid. It made money. In my business, I did the same thing, and that's the first time I've ever said that in my entire career. I did what I do on purpose because it created something that was a maverick. I'm a maverick. I didn't want to be like everybody else, but I also knew by doing that I'd be risking fanfare, and I don't care. I like haters. I welcome them all.
Up next is Jeffrey the Moneyman Tandak, who went from corporate CFO to entrepreneur and CEO from episode 15. What habits help you make you successful?
Mindset, number one, always looking to evolve and refine yourself to put yourself in a better position, have better knowledge, decision-making skills, knowing what you know works and what doesn't. And if you realize something's not working, then don't do it again, refine it and work it until you find something that does work.
Up next is the great and ultimate businessman, James Dentley, from episode 16. Okay, next question. What habit help you make you successful?
What habits? Well, you got to be committed. You have to be committed. You have to invest in having a mindset. I don't want to say superior mindset, but everything in life happens twice. The thought, the thing, the inner, the outer. You know, your thoughts influence your words influence your actions impact your habits. There's a poem I always said, and it goes like this. It says, "Who am I? I am your constant companion. I'm your greatest helper. I'm your heaviest burden. I can lift you upward or I can drag you down to failure. Teach me to do a thing repeatedly. I begin to do it automatically. I'm easily managed, but you must be firm with me. I am the first to all those who are great, and the last those who are failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made failures. I am not a machine, yet I operate with the precision of a machine, yet the intelligence of a human being. But if you teach me and train me, I'll lay the work at your feet. If you are easy with me, I will destroy you. Who am I? I am called habit. Habit is my name." The biggest habit I can say and share with people is what Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, they all adhere to what we call the 4-hour rule. That means they commit every week to 4 hours of personal development and reflection. Reflection, a sense of awareness to get back centered. Meditation, to center yourself so you're not all spazzed out by the things that happen outside of you. Because the only thing you can really control is you. You can't fix anybody else. You can just control where you are to the best of your ability. So, yeah, the habits are just really growing, learning, serving, working your craft, being committed, and then finding a way to balance yourself. You're not going to be in balance all the time, but balance yourself so you don't go too far off the rail. You got to have A relationship, you have to have balance your relationships. Yeah, if you don't have a spiritual life, you don't believe in it, then at least meditate if it's all about you. And just kind of balance yourself the best you can so you don't go off the rails.
Up next is Ryan Shalaba, co-founder of Urban Capital Group, Pittsburgh's top residential fix and flip company, from episode 18. What habits help make you successful?
Really caring about, I'd say really like caring about details, but not like getting hung up on them. So like, I care about how things are done. Straight grit, perseverance. When I was 19, starting in this business, I heard everything. No one's ever going to trust you with their money. No one's ever going to sell you a house. No one's ever going to work for you. No one's ever going to buy a house that a 19-year-old kid renovated, even though I never touched a house. All of those things, and just basically sticking a middle finger up to the haters, if you will. Another meme there. And knowing that I was going to figure it out. And probably the third, I would say if there's three things, it's like seeking knowledge. Like, I am a nerd. I just love to read. I love to learn from people. I want to get on high level calls like this and just create relationships and constantly learn from guys so that I can get better in my organization. And like, good is just never good enough. So I think those things.
Up next is Veronica Jacobo, accomplished professional and insurance agency owner, from episode 21.
What habits helped make you successful?
Persistence. Having structure.
What do you mean by structure?
Structure is really identifying what you want to do. Do you want to be the 9-to-5 agency owner that's going to be stuck in your office all day, or do you want to have structure and say, you know what, I need to go and take my kickboxing class today, or I need to go out and help out mom with something, and but have structure that fits you, not structure that fits like everyone. But you still have to make money, you still have to be here. So I am a believer of educating my clients to the way I do business. I'm not here to be an order taker. I'm here to do business for you and give you a recommendation. Same way that I've always said, if you're going to go get some coffee, if you go to Starbucks, you're going to say tall, grande, or venti.
I still say medium.
No way.
Fuck yeah.
No, you don't.
They're so dumb. Fucking.
Well, they've developed this way of doing business, right?
How is grande bigger than tall?
Well, what does venti mean? It's Italian.
It's 20
20
ounces.
ounce, buddy.
Stupid.
No, he's the only, without question. I hate it. I better not see you at Starbucks.
I don't. Actually, I just had Starbucks on Saturday.
But they created this way of doing business. And if you're going to walk into a Starbucks, that's the way to do it. Well, if you want to do business with me, this is the way I'm going to help you.
Yeah,
and
no
I'm gonna
cash
hold
payments.
No cash payments, buddy. Like, no, you can knock on my wall. Can I here make a payment? No.
Up next is Joseph Land, lifelong entrepreneur and overall amazing guy, from episode 22. What habits help make you successful?
Well, I think I have a routine. I've always had a routine. On Sunday night when my kids go to bed and I'm ready to go to work on Monday, I'm making my game plan for the week, right? I'm making my game plan for the week. And then the other thing I do every day is I get up every morning early. I think the best time a person has is from 5 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the morning. There's nobody up. There's nobody bothering you. You know, you can do your spiritual time. You can meditate. You can write in your journal. You can make your plan for the day. And you can be so far ahead of everybody who's just getting up at 7, or 6 or whatever. And then I go to the gym. I work out an hour and a half, and I come back and get dressed for battle, ready to go.
Up next is Michael Gunderson, founder of the Gunderson Law Firm, from episode 23.
What habits helped make you successful?
Oh, God. I have terrible habits. I think optimism, probably. I don't know if you can call that a habit, but I'm an eternal optimist. And I think that's been a detriment at times, but overall it's been quite helpful.
I mean, you have to be an optimist to be a Cubs fan, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it worked out. Look at that. Totally worked out. I feel great.
Up next is Nick Leiber, owner of Exit Strategy Realty in Chicago and #1 office in the country out of 600 offices, from episode 24.
What habits helped make you successful?
I don't want to go back to the getting up early in the morning. A couple different things. Number one, having really good technology around me. I think having really good technology around me, the ability to work from anywhere, also allows you to turn off that phone at some point. The ability to work from anywhere. So that, I think, number one. And then number two, quite frankly, going broke. I've run out of money more than once, and I got to tell you, nothing scares you back to the table in terms of wanting to work hard than running out of money. I've done it several times. It has scared the living daylights out of me. Going broke is not cute on anybody.
Did you ever read Damon John's book, The Power of Broke?
No, but I've heard of it. I mean, I think I could do the rewrite for my 2009 and 10. We call them the dark days, but no. But I'll tell you, like that. Some people know the story that follow me on social media and that we interact. My car broke down on the Webster Street Bridge back in, I think, 2010. Right before the market crashed, I bought this brand new 7 Series BMW with $1,000 a month payment, like every other idiot realtor that was out there. No savings. Everybody's running around going from broker open to broker open, partying. They thought it was amazing. Market crashed, and we're all like, oh God. And so I ended up, having to trade my car in, bought this old green Jaguar cash. And I'm like, all right, well, at least it says Jaguar on it. 8 billion miles. Somebody had smoked in there before, it stank. And it was just like, this is just bleak. And I'm driving the thing back from a showing, and it broke down on the Webster Street Bridge. And some nice character out there, took a picture of it, posted it on Facebook, and tagged me in it. And I'm like, wow, this is wrong. And I'm like, I remember walking back to get the car, and there's a tow truck and a police car behind it, because of course I had some tickets that I hadn't paid either. And I'm like, this is just, I can't live like this anymore. Like, I have got to change the way I'm running my business. And one of the things I figured out at that point is I'm like, I'm not lead generating for 2 hours a day. I'm not respecting my database. But that was, the power broke, the power of that post, that car breaking down on that bridge. I'm like, I'm never getting back here again.
Up next is top real estate investor Andrew Holmes, who's completed over 1,000 real estate deals, from episode 25.
What habits helped make you successful?
I think being lazy. The lazier you are, the more you figure out how. So here's what I mean. I don't mean that lazy as in that you're not willing to work hard, right? For a lot of people, for me, looking at a house is not work, right? For me, I won't wake up early for anything except if a property at auction is coming, right? Then I can wake up early. You tell me 2 o'clock in the morning, dude, let's go look at a house. I'm good to go. It doesn't bother me what day, time, if it's raining, if it's, I think some point you have to basically either, I don't know if you develop it or if you just have it, you have to be plumb excited about what you're willing to do, what you're going to do, right? And if you're excited and other people can see that excitement, right, the universe lines up. You have
to be passionate, and then people can see that passion in you, and they want to be with someone like that, so they can get the same thing.
Exactly, no question about it. So,
I mean, also if you're quote unquote lazy, then you're able to delegate more and leverage other things.
And I just cannot work 30 hours, 40 hours a week for the next 40 years. Keep doing the same thing, and when I retire, there's a glass ceiling as to what my cash flow situation is supposed to be. I mean, that to me is a moral sin. Yeah. I mean, if there is a sin in life, that's a sin. That you tell your kid that you're going to work for the next 30, 40 years of your life after putting in that much work, then you have to live on $3,000 or $4,000 a month. I mean, that is crazy to me, right? And I mean, I think I was just blessed with I was always a dreamer since I was a little kid, right? I mean, I lived in my own world. A lot of my friends thought I was nuts, It hasn't changed today. So it helps because I just don't see as anything as not a possibility.
Up next are personal branding experts and overall great guys, Miguel Paloma and Tony Arce, from episode 26.
What habits helped make you successful?
Honestly, for me, it's listening. It's cutting out all the minutia, right? That both from just in general, knowledge is power. So, it says you should acquire wisdom and all knowledge in that good old book. And so I did. And I think setting out to do so means that you learn not only about your business, but I think just about how to do life a little bit better. And so it's one of those things that I think just learning a lot and immersing yourself in good stuff and cutting out all the bad stuff, whether it be the news or whether it be bad people, don't matter, just in good and out bad.
Yeah, I think for myself, it's listening to other folks. Even now, when we meet prospective clients, it'll be 5 minutes before I say anything because I'm usually observing that person and I'm trying to determine what their brand is, what their personal brand is. But that's helped me out a lot. I'll just, like he said, I'm usually the quiet one, but I'm listening. I'm taking notes of who somebody is and what they stand for, because I think if we're ultimately going to work together, then I think we can hone in on that strength immediately and effectively. So.
Up next is serial entrepreneur John Singh. He has started and run over 20 businesses in his career and thrived in the network marketing industry from episode 28.
What habits helped make you successful?
I would say consistency. And one of the other ones besides consistency, because it's like going to the gym, you got to show up. You got to show up consistently. You got to eat right consistently. People that diet, they usually, they'll lose weight, but then they put it all back on. Then they'll lose weight and they'll put it all back on like yo-yos. If you don't stay consistent, you're never going to get the results that you truly want to get. And I would say one of the biggest ones is probably PMA, positive mental attitude. You got to be positive. I mean, garbage in, garbage out. If you're constantly watching like CNN, constantly negative news, you're going to have nothing but negativity be attracted to you in your life because that's what you're listening to. Yeah. If you're listening to gangster rap all the time, you're probably going to act like a gangster and sag your pants and mean mug people because that's what you're listening to. That's what's influencing you. So PMA is important. PMA stands for positive mental attitude. I mean, you got to put positive stuff in your mind. Listen to the audiobooks, get some mentorship, work out. Your true wealth is in your health. Be healthy and stay positive. Because if you're positive and you smile a lot and you're uplifting people and you're not that negative person that people don't want to be around, misery loves company, but you're that positive person that lifts people up and encourages them and helps them be positive in life too, you'll attract a lot of positive people and you'll live a way happier life.
Up next from episode 29, Nick Katz, Chicago native and local real estate entrepreneur with over 20 years of broker and investment experience.
What habits helped make you successful?
Habits. That helped me a lot of habits, and not the drug-related kind. The habits. Success is a habit. I have a highly regimented.
Stunning as a habit.
I have a highly regimented behavior in how I run my life. So I wake up, I'll go to the gym, I will go to a coffee shop, sit down, and commit several hours to working on projects. When I have downtime, I'll go back to working on those projects. I don't like to be idle. In fact, I'm going to tell you something that I don't usually share. At one point, I had a roommate, and I had committed to relaxing because they told me, "Well, you need to relax, Nick. You're always supposed to be doing stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right.
You need to relax, Nick."
Yeah. So I sat on the couch at that particular Saturday, and I remember I sat down and I watched TV and relaxed, or at least I tried to. I was so agitated and not comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
When this person in question came back and they're like, "Have you been there all day?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've been trying to relax." And they're like, "Well, how's it feeling?" And I'm like, "I hate this." I'm going right back to what I was doing, which is I don't like to sit around doing nothing. I don't find that relaxing. I find that, I always remember that there's a limited amount of time that I have to do anything. And my time is valuable. So I want to use that time in every way that I can that's useful and productive. And good habits help. I definitely think that selecting people in my life that have been supportive and that are talented and can share their experiences with me have helped. And I try to do that for them. I'm a big believer that, the more you put out there, the more you receive. So it's a little bit selfish, but it's true in the regard that when you add value, you get value back.
Up next is web designer, SEO expert, and award-winning author from episode 31, Phil Singleton.
What habits help make you successful?
For me, for sure, waking up early. I mean, I'm up usually 4 or 5 in the morning, and that's when I have my energy on, and I get a full day's worth of work in, I feel like, before 9 o'clock, which makes me feel like I can spend the rest of the day working when I'm motivated and doing fun things when I don't have to do.
Ricardo likes that too. He gets up at 5 every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually, like you said, I've done a lot of the stuff that I want to do for the day by like 10. And then I still have the rest of the day. I'm like, oh, perfect.
Yeah. And then when you're motivated, I don't know, that's how I do it. I was like, oh, I'll work on it right now, but I'm going to kick back and do something else, spend time with the kids or whatever. And that's what I do.
Up next is lifelong entrepreneur and co-founder of High Return Real Estate and host of his own podcast, The High Return Real Estate Show, Jeff Schuster, from episode 32.
What habits helped make you successful?
I think for me, there's so many moving parts because I'm the CEO of our company and I'm also obviously oversee all the marketing. So there's a lot of moving pieces. And I think 2 things for the entrepreneurs in this position. Number one is just get up and have your list. I mean, my stuff is just super simple. I just use a little yellow legal pad. And the night before, I just kind of go, what have I got to get done tomorrow? What are the top 4 or 5 things? Because if I start going through all these lists and I got 100 things I'm trying to achieve, whatever, like I'm just going to look at that and I'm going to start crying. I'm going to just be like completely overwhelmed. So I've just learned what are the top 3 or 4 things I want to get done tomorrow and just start on the big stuff in the morning and try and get them done because the day is going to get away from you. That's like my whole system. It's completely simple. The other part B to that is who is it on your team that you could probably delegate this to that might do a better job than you, even though you may not initially think as entrepreneurs, we think we have to do everything ourselves, but like, how could I empower somebody else to do this better than me and challenge them to say, hey, here's how I'm doing it. Could you take this over and do it better than me and start leveraging your time a little bit better? And if you don't have that person on your team, how could you go find that person? So, I'm just always looking for ways to constantly create efficiencies within some of the tasks that I am burdened with.
Up next is the CEO and co-founder of ClickInvest, an overall amazing guy, Rosario Terracciano, from episode 33.
What habits helped make you successful?
Routines, for sure. I mean, the morning routine. Like, I know when I'm on it. If I'm consistent with my morning routine, I'm going. I'm a creature of habit, and I'm a wild card. So if it's like a budget, if I don't create that lane for me to stay in, I'm a mess, man. So morning routine's a really big deal. And then I would say getting wise counsel, staying pretty consistent with that. And I'd have to say over the last 7 years, I've been pretty decent at that. The coaches have come and gone. Different mentors have come and gone, but I've constantly been seeking mentors out.
Up next is mobile home park expert, educator, industry consultant, and host of his own podcast, Mobile Home Park Investors, the first podcast ever dedicated to investing in the mobile home parks. Jefferson Lilly from episode 34.
What habits helped make you successful?
Probably perseverance. Again, it can be hard to find these. I put in several offers. I got outbid. The park that was my first park was not the first park that I put an offer in on. So you got to persevere. You've also got to be comfortable thinking outside the box. Mobile home parks are not normal, right? Nobody at your country club or your gym is talking about how they're investing in mobile home parks.
Yeah.
So you've got to be comfortable getting some really weird looks from people. When I first got into this business, I was a single man. I was at a cocktail party. One woman asked me what I did for a living. I told her I invested in mobile home parks. She let out a little smirk. She kind of laughed. She turned around and walked away from me. So you've got to, you've got to be, and I'm sure if my wife hears this, honey, this was long before I even met you. But you've got to be comfortable thinking outside the box. You're going to have that kind of reaction from family, from friends. You've got to be comfortable making your own way, because the normal thing is to, buy a house within a half hour of your house and improve it and rent it out. That's what's normal. That'll get you no smirks. No one will walk away from you at a cocktail party if you do that. So yeah, you've got to persevere. You've got to be comfortable being different. Think different, I guess, is to paraphrase Steve Jobs' comment. You've got to think different.
Up next is self-made millionaire, award-winning real estate entrepreneur, coach, public speaker, author of several books, and host of his own podcast called Respect the Grind Podcast, Stefan Aarnio from episode 35.
What habits helped make you successful?
Well, when I was 3 years old, my mother put me in piano and we had to practice every day. And I've always had this everyday mentality. So whether it's real estate or whether it's sales or writing books, I've always had this everyday mentality, and that's respecting the grind. So I think that anything you want to be great at, you got to do every day. And I've got that everyday mentality, like every day, relentlessly going after that thing. You got to do it every day.
Up next is serial entrepreneur, coach, author, and named one of the top most followed women entrepreneurs by the Huffington Post. Also, she's the host of her own podcast called The Win. Heather Havenwood from episode 36.
What habits helped make you successful?
Getting out in your own head, always having a coach. I have a coach. I've had a coach pretty much since I was about 24, 25 years old. When I called my dad one day looking for advice, kind of in life. And he's like, I can't do this anymore. You need a coach. So I've had either a business coach, a personal coach, a mentor, surrounded by people who are constantly pushing me, who are constantly questioning my beliefs, constantly. And I've had that since I was about 29, 30 at this point. There's only been like a year of my life that I haven't gone out with not had a coach in my life at some level.
Up next is the $100 million mortgage man, an overall amazing and super friendly guy, Joel Schaub from episode 37.
What habits helped make you successful?
Giving back. It's the number one thing. Literally, if you can make sure that you're doing something every single day to give back, people will recognize it. And in the beginning, it's hard, right? Everybody in the beginning is eager to get a commission or earn an income. But even in the very beginning, I was doing things to give back, and that's how I've gotten to this level.
Hold on, before we go to the next one. For someone just starting out, what habits would you say they should have if they're getting started in the mortgage business? Like how many calls, how many meetings they should be having, or, just numbers wise?
So for me, the number one thing, there's all these sales tips, right? There's all these different tricks and tips that I don't subscribe to at all. Really, the number one people that I've gotten business from, they've become friends. They've been to dinners at my house. They've been out on my boat with my wife and I. They've been to my wedding. These are things that you're actually, if you want a good tip or a good trick, be friends with people. Literally be yourself and be genuine. People like to do business with people that they like. And there's no shortcut to anything.
Up next is Amazon bestselling author, business owner, entrepreneur, and co-founder of the Tab Retreat, Bob McIntosh from episode 38.
What habits helped make you successful?
What habits?
Yeah.
Okay. So, habit number one is stop caring what other people think about you. And I don't know if that's a habit necessarily, but I don't let naysayers, haters, whatever, I don't care. That's number one. And then number two is I think having accountability groups. I think as investors or entrepreneurs in general, we all too often get lost in our own world, especially if we have a full-time job and we're doing real estate or whatever it is that you're doing on the side, because you have so much going on. You don't oftentimes have anyone to hold you accountable. When you're at your job, right, you've got a boss, you've got coworkers that are looking at you. Even if you've got a partner, sometimes it's still not the same. I would highly recommend you go out, find yourself 2 to 4 other people, no more than 4, so 5 total people in a group, and have a weekly, if not daily, meeting. 10, 15 minutes is all it needs to be to say, what did you want to accomplish last week? What did you get done? If you didn't get it done, why? And what are you going to do next week, right? So let's say you can do it weekly. And the important thing about that is that you have to be steadfast in holding everyone accountable. In other words, when they don't get shit done, you call them out. Don't be like, oh, it's okay. You know, you can get it. No, the fuck is wrong with you? Get your shit done. Make it happen. If you're on here next week and you're not part of this call anymore because you obviously don't give a shit. You're not taking it seriously. And I've said that to my accountability partners, and usually they're like, oh man. And like all of a sudden you're like, well, I got to get it done. Like, I don't want to piss Bob off. And they should be doing the same to you. That's the only way for it to work.
Because even if you think that you can be accountable to yourself, I mean, you're going to rationalize your bad choices
always
anyway, no matter like how strong your will is. You're always going to be like, yeah, but that happened or that happened. But if it's somebody else, it's like, no.
You know the old saying of, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. And that always hurts more than it's like,
Up next is Emil Khodorkovsky. I'm sure I'm butchering his name, Khodorkovsky. He's a Russian immigrant, self-made man, entrepreneur, and founder of Forbix, which has been involved in over $3 billion of debt funding from episode 39.
What habits helped make you successful?
My habits. I think my biggest habit is I'm always starving for knowledge, right? So I'm very, very curious. And I think when somebody gives me something that doesn't make sense to me, until it does, I can't let it go. I can't drop the book until it makes sense to me. And as a suggestion to other people, if something that somebody's pitching it doesn't make sense, don't do it.
Last but not least, from episode 41, the amazing Tamil Kenny. She's a full-time real estate investor, apartment syndicator, 3-time Amazon bestselling author, mother of 2, and co-founder of Think Multifamily.
What habits helped make you successful?
I think just the mindset, right? Because you can get like things aren't going my way and it's woe is me. But if you train your mindset of it's a fresh, brand new day, I'm going to tackle this thing. It really is a mindset shift every single day. And when you feel yourself feeling beat up because things aren't happening as fast as you want them to, you have to be in control of the way you think. You have to reset your goals for the day. You have to change your mindset and stay positive. That's the only way you're going to keep your energy up and keep going.
And that's it for another special edition of the podcast. Really hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed re-listening to a lot of these episodes. I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to talk to such amazing people. Please let us know what you thought and if there's something you would like to see more often. A little bit more on habits though. I just wanted to say that a lot of the advice that our guests might have given, it might not work for you. So what I would say is try different routines. You know, maybe try to find something that actually sticks. For you, waking up early might work or not, but you're never going to know unless you try it. Currently, my routine, you know, when I'm good, that I'll say, you know, where you put a lot of pressure on yourself because you're not waking up. If what you're trying to do is wake up early in the morning, you know, 5:30, 5 a.m., and maybe you miss a day or two, don't feel too bad, I'll be honest. Sometimes I have quite a bit of a hard time getting up at 5:30 a.m., but that's okay, you know. As long as I get about 4 out of 5 days out of the week where I wake up at 5:30, I'm usually pretty happy. So don't be too hard on yourself, okay? So what I would say is try some of these routines or some of these habits, and if it works for you, you know, that's great. If it doesn't, then move on to the next one, right? Another thing that I would say has helped me as far as habits go is using time blocks and using certain days for certain activities. Like on Mondays, for me specifically, I do a lot of the podcast stuff, you know, editing, putting the episodes together, doing a lot of the producing, a lot of social media work. On Tuesdays, I work on something else. Wednesdays, I work on a different part of our businesses because we currently run 3 businesses. So there's a lot there's a lot that's going on. And I think dedicating one day to one specific business might be tough at first. But once you set boundaries, a lot of the time, people will respect those boundaries. If you let them know that, hey, this day I want to do that, please respect my time, or just let them know, hey, I'll get back to you later in the day. Maybe have an hour later in the day to dedicate to just getting back to calls, or maybe getting back to doing some other things in your business or another part of your business. A couple of books that I would recommend would be The 12-Week Year and a book that it's called The One Thing I think it's by Gary Keller. Just finished that book. It's amazing. It's I don't want to butcher the description, so I'll put some links in the show notes for you guys to go look at those books. Definitely check them out. I highly recommend them. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as I enjoyed putting it together. One last thing before you head off though, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave us your thoughts on iTunes. It would really mean a lot and help us reach more people. You can also find us on Facebook at Profits Over Wages Podcast, as well as on Instagram and YouTube. Until next time.